Okay, this is going to be section 4 and 5. They're both pretty much the same thing. So if you've been paying attention up so far, we've so far graphed a straight line by we created a table of values and plotted the points. The second method that we're going to talk about is what we're doing right now, and that is plotting the intercepts. All right. The third step is we won't get to that until next week. All right. So we're going to look for the x and y intercepts of our equations, and then we're just going to connect those 2 points. I want you to notice something here. Okay, so if this is a straight line, any point where it crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. Any point that it crosses the x-axis is the x-intercept. I want you to notice that for every point along the x value, or the x-axis, let's say there's a point right here. That point is 2, 0. This point is 3, 0. This point is 4, 0. This point is negative 2, 0. Notice that all of the y values on the x-axis are equal to 0. So on the x-axis, y equals 0. Also notice points along the y-axis. This point is 0, negative 3. This point is 0, 3. Notice that the x values are 0 on the y-axis. This is the y-axis where x equals 0. So the y-intercept is x equals 0 and then some y value. The x-intercept is some x value and then y equals 0. So when we're doing these problems, I want you to set them up the same way that I'm going to show you every single time. Okay, from section 4, we're going to do example number 1. The equation is 2x plus 5y equals 10. You're going to set up this part first. Word for word, every single thing you see here is going to be set up for each problem. This is how you're going to do it. Trust me, it just makes it easier. Okay? So let's find the y-intercept first. I know that x is 0. Well, if x is 0, this term just disappears because 2 times 0 is 0. So really, all I have is 5y equals 10. And I can see that y is going to have to be 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay? Now on the x-intercept, y is 0. So I would cover that up. And the only thing left over is 2x equals 10. Clearly, x has to be 5. So now I'm just going to plot those points. The x-intercept is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the y-intercept is 2. Get my handy straight edge. And there's my line. So just so you know, section 4, you only have to find this part. You only have to do this part. You don't have to graph it. Section 5, you have to find the intercepts, and then you have to graph it. So I'm not going to talk about section 5 separately. I'm just going to kind of do this all together. Section 5 also tells you to label the intercepts. And when they ask you to label a point on the graph, it just means to write down its coordinates. This is 5, 0. This is 0, 2. And that is labeling the intercepts. Okay? All right, the next equation is the opposite of y minus 3x equals 9. Let's do the x-intercept first. or the y-intercept first, and I know that x is 0. If x is 0, that term disappears, right? And all I have left is the opposite of y equals 9. So if the opposite of y equals 9, y must equal the opposite of 9. So negative 9 is my y-intercept. And on the x-intercept, y is 0, so I would cover that up. And all I have left is negative 3x equals 9. If I divide both sides by negative 3, the answer is negative 3. Okay, so my y-intercept is at negative 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. My x-intercept is at negative 3. 1, 2, 3. Draw my straight line. Label it. This is 0, negative 9. And this is negative 3, 0. One more. Oh, on number 9 on your worksheets, for some reason it says equals 0. Well, you're going to end up with your x-intercept and y-intercept are both at the origin. So change that. Instead of equal to 0 on number 9, I want you to change it to equals 6. All right. So let's do the y-intercept first, where x is 0, which would leave me negative 2y equals 6. Divide both sides by negative 2, and the answer is negative 3. On the x-intercept, y is 0, and I would have 3x equals 6. So x has to be 2. I forgot to draw a graph on this one. That's a horrible space graph. Okay, so the y-intercept is at negative 3. Label it. X-intercept is at 2. Label it. Draw the line, and there you go. Just a recap on slope. This is a negative slope. This is a negative slope. This is a positive slope. Okay, and that is it for sections 4 and 5. Remember, on section 4, all you have to do is this part. Just show me what the x and y intercepts are. Section 5, you have to do that, plus label it, or plus graph it, and label the intercepts. And that's it for this week's algebra lessons.